Today I'm going to show you how I add highways to the photo backdrop on my N-scale layout. That's coming right up. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. A number of you have commented on my photo backdrop and I really appreciate those comments. For me, a backdrop helps to create the feel of the area you are modeling. In my case, I'm modeling the Union Pacific Evanston subdivision. This subdivision runs from Green River in southwestern Wyoming to Ogden in northeastern Utah. My backdrop depicts the deserts and semi-arid areas of this region. Today I want to talk to you about the method I use for adding highways that run through the open countryside on my photo backdrop. I won't be talking about the street scenes in Green River Town because I did that in a previous video called Structures and Streets on my N-scale layout. I'll put an end card at the conclusion of this video which will take you to that video about streets in town. Recently, Brian W. and Cronus 101 asked me about the streets and highways on my layout. Their comments inspired me to do this video. So thank you, Brian and Cronus, for the inspiration. Back in 2016, I built this bridge that carries Wyoming Highway 531 over the Union Pacific Yard at Green River. Here's a photo of the prototype and my model, which I built mostly from Rick's product parts. Right after building the bridge, I noticed that the highway on my layout came to an abrupt end just beyond the north end of the bridge, as you see here in the before photo. How unrealistic is that? I called it the bridge to nowhere. So in no time, I found a photo of a desert highway on the internet. I printed it out, trimmed it, and pasted it onto the backdrop as you see in the after photo. It wasn't perfect, but it did make a big difference. The highway seemed to disappear in the distance. That's the effect I was looking for. But then I made a big mistake. I tried to touch up the color of the highway photo by painting it to match the color of the 3D highway more closely. I also tried to fill in the transition between the 3D highway and the photo highway with a bit of spackling paste. Here you see the results. What a catastrophe. It looks so bad that I'm embarrassed to show you this photo. I didn't even realize just how bad it was until I took this photo. As I now know, you often can't see the results like this with the naked eye, but you sure can see them when you take a photo or make a video of the scene. So I decided to go ahead and fix this problem, even though it wasn't on my list of things to do. Using the same technique as before, I began by printing out some photos of desert highways that seemed to disappear in the distance. Then I selected one of them. Here's the one I selected and printed out on photo paper. I selected it for three reasons. First, the highway color and stripes match those of the 3D highway as closely as possible. I did adjust the color of the photo in iPhoto to match the color of the 3D highway more closely, but it was impossible to match the color perfectly. Second, I chose this photo because the highway in the photo meets the 3D highway straight on and not at some awkward angle or slope. In other words, it looks as if you're standing in the middle of the 3D highway facing directly ahead down the photo highway. And third, it seems to curve to the right as it disappears in the distance. All of this was necessary to create an even remotely convincing illusion. I used this template that I previously printed out on regular printer paper in order to get just the little piece of the photo highway that I needed. You see the line I drew on the photo using the template, showing me exactly where to cut the photo along the bottom to match the 3D highway. Finally, I pasted the highway photo onto the backdrop right on top of the previous one that I had messed up, making sure that the white and yellow lines on the photo highway matched those on the 3D highway. By the way, the white and yellow lines on the 3D highway are made from graphic chart tape. I wanted the 3D highway and the photo highway to match as seamlessly as possible, with no visible separation between them. This was very important to me because the transition between them can make or break the illusion. This was very difficult to do, and I haven't quite succeeded. I have tried to match the color of the two, this time by leaving the photo highway alone and instead working on the color of the 3D highway using Tamiya weathering pastels. Placing some vehicles on the 3D highway helps to hide the transition a little. Let me just mention, as an aside here, that the bridge surface is concrete and the 3D highway is asphalt, and I've weathered the surface of the bridge and the highway. The scene I've created doesn't quite match the prototype the way I would like it to. On the prototype, the highway actually curves around and intersects with Flaming Gorge Way here, but there just wasn't enough space to do that. I also couldn't make the 3D highway just disappear behind some trees, as we often do in our layouts, because I'm modeling a desert layout, although I will eventually add some scruffy junipers and sagebrush to this scene. And there wasn't even enough space to make the 3D highway just disappear behind some 3D desert scenery. So the photo highway was absolutely necessary. So that's how I created the highway in the wide open countryside in the photo backdrop. It's not perfect, but I do believe that it creates the illusion of a highway that disappears into the distance. It doesn't just stop at the backdrop on the other side of the bridge. I'm happy that I could achieve that effect. Now, I want to remind you that you can see how I created the streets in town by clicking on the endnote called Streets and Structures on my N-Scale layout. As always, I welcome your comments and your subscriptions down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy railroading.